Every user interaction on the web is an event. One of such event is network event. Angular introduced RxJS to handle events. We would use HTTP client to fetch data from server that returns observable. In order to consume observables, we have techniques like async pipe. Due to reactive nature of observables, they were used to manage states, router events, and more, until Signals came. It brought fine-grained reactivity where Angular can exactly pinpoint when state changes. It vastly improves the rendering updates. In other words, better change detection. But not all aspects of the framework are signals. Routers, network, they still emit event. And we need a way to integrate between signals and observables. That's what RxJS interrupt does. It provides methods like toSignal and toObservables. But soon this got into a practice of frequently jumping between two words like signals and observables, especially for HTTP calls, as it doesn't naturally work with signals. But Angular can do better in the form of resources. Resources bridges a gap between synchronous code and asynchronous operations. One of its implementation is HTTP resource. It facilitates HTTP client. It returns a result as a signal without promises or observables, as well as helper signals like loading and error, etc. We can explore it, how to implement it with a simple demo. Let's start with the very basic application. We can use the minimal configuration. I've also added some CSS also. All the source code will be provided in the description. We will start with the basic template for our table, and then we will switch it with the rich content. Let's see it in action. To display the data, we will use JSONPlaceholder API, especially its comment endpoint. I will use all those properties for our use case. On the class side, let's consume that UAPI. We will need a comments variable, and it will hold a HTTP resource. Let's give a shape of the comment. How does it looks like? And this is the extended form of HTTP resource, which is an object that can have a URL as well as params. We want to restrict a number of elements that we want, and we can also provide the default value, which is optional. We will add a pipe to just for formatting purposes, and let's update the HTML. We will loop over the comment resource that provides value signal, and we are just using some of its properties and a slice pipe. Let's see how the result looks like. So that's what we get on the table. If we can confirm it making a network call. So refresh, and we are getting the data that we requested. Let's improve the experience further by adding a loading and handle errors. For that, we need to explore some other properties of HTTP resource. While back in HTML, let's add those properties. So our resource has another signal which is called isLoading. We can use that to render different kind of template. Similarly, our resource also provides an error signal. We can use that to handle errors. Let's see our code in action. Now, if we load our page, we can see the data, but now we need to simulate it. We can use the browser tools. Let's use the slow 4G. If I refresh, we can see the loading indicator bit. I can go for much slower network to see it. Now we can see the data. We tested the loading. Let's test the error. So if we block the request here, refresh, we'll see something went wrong. That's what we provided in the template. Let's bring it back. And that's it. This ends this tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed it, learned something from it. Let's continue it in the next one. Thank you for watching.